Good morning, everyone. Happy Halloween. I'm Reverend Marla Mason, and this is Unity of Bellevue, and this is our Halloween celebration. I want to see all your costumes. Come on, you guys. We put it out there in the email. You're looking good regardless. I'm so grateful to be with you in our virtual spiritual community this morning, Unity of Bellevue. It is a blessing and a privilege and a pleasure to serve as your minister and to see all of your beautiful faces on my screen. And if not your face, at the very least, your name. Welcome. Happy to be with you this morning. Here at Unity, we teach that there is only one life. That life is God's life, and that life is the very life that we live, that we are divine expressions of the infinite, and that our only task here on earth is to learn to live from that place more and more fully, to learn to live from the presence of love more and more fully. This month, the month of October, we're exploring the ideas of community and connection. What does that look like? What does it mean to move into a deeper and a kinder and a more honest understanding of who we are individually and how who we are connects to the greater community? So that's what we're doing this month. Today we are particularly talking about love. What is the function and what is the role of love in creating and expanding spiritual community? So I'm pretty excited to be with you all this morning for that conversation. We have lots of folks helping us out today. Sabrina McFadden is joining us as our producer this morning. So grateful for you, Sabrina. I think is this your very first time solo? I know you've done this supported before, but we're grateful to have you in this role, doing all the tech stuff to make meeting with you virtually possible. The board host today is Dorothy Bostetter. Welcome, Dorothy. I'm looking forward to hearing from you later. Monica will be with us today to provide our announcements and to anchor us in consciousness. Our prayer chaplains today are Susan Neidig and Jennifer Holt, and they will be leading you in prayer in the prayer circle after the service is over. Particularly today, I want to welcome our guest artist. Her name is Laura Berman, and here's my story about Laura. About maybe 12 years ago or so, I was at the Asilomar conference, and this woman started to sing. And she blew my mind. It was such an amazing thing. And I remember as the session started to end, she did like 2 or 3, maybe 4 songs in that session, and with speakers and stuff. And as the session started to end, I was edging my way to the back because I wanted to get to her table quick. And I got to her table and I bought a complete bundle of every CD she's ever made, and I've purchased every CD she's made since. Her music has blessed me, has taken me on powerful spiritual journeys within. I just feel so grateful to welcome Laura into our community here today, and she's got some music for us right now. Welcome, Laura.
Thanks, Reverend Marla. I remember that time. You're right, about 12, 13-ish years. Yep. It's like it was yesterday. Oh, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried, true, with thanksgiving. I will be a living sanctuary for you. Oh, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, holy. I am tried and true, with thanksgiving. I will be living sanctuary. sanctuary. I am yours, I am yours, I am yours, and I am your sanctuary. I am yours, I am your sanctuary. I am yours. So prepare me to be your sanctuary. I am pure, I am holy, I am tried and true. Thanksgiving, I am living sanctuary for you. With thanksgiving, I'll be living sanctuary for you. I am yours.
And so we open our hearts. The sanctuary, the safe place where the living one dwells. That living one that animates us, that enlivens us, that breathes us, that moves us. We simply open and allow. And I know that we come together for this sacred and holy purpose to make ourselves more available to the infinite, to say yes to the divine unfolding of the living one in, as, and through us. And so I give thanks for everything that is coming together this morning, conspiring to open our hearts more fully than they ever have before. The music, the message, the spiritual community, everything that is about to unfold, lifting and inspiring us to be a greater sanctuary for the infinite. I open this sacred and holy time together with a grateful heart, and I call it good. And so it is. Amen. And so I'm going to speak our words of affirmation. I will say them once. I invite you to simply continue to have that open heart and to let their wisdom penetrate not just your head awareness, but your body and your feeling awareness. The words of our affirmation are this: at the center of my being lies the life-giving presence of the infinite. I effortlessly connect with this presence as I joyfully embrace the essence of God in everyone and everything. And so it is. And so, having heard these words, been receptive to these words, now let's affirm these words together. I invite you to join me aloud and with conviction. At the center of my being lies the life-giving presence of the infinite. I effortlessly connect with this presence as I joyfully embrace the essence of God in everyone and everything. And so it is.
From the darkest place to a higher space, calling from every direction. On every single path I have stood strong, then cowered fast. What a strange perception. Well, life is demanding, but I am understanding. one I never expected, rising up from misunderstood, a higher good, yes. Well, I'm always getting ready on steps that are so unsteady, dancing the same old dances. Oh, well, I am never really sure how to fit myself through the door. Well, it's all part of taking chances. Well, life is demanding, but I am understanding. The best I could was where I stood for a higher good and greater truth. Where once it was covered, oh, now I have proof. There's a bigger lesson, one I never expected, rising up from misunderstood. Well, I've seen the road at ground level, but there's a wider view at play. There's a much wider view, and it brings me home to revel on this fine, fine, fine day, this fine day, for a higher good and greater truth. Where once it was covered, oh, now I have proof. There's a bigger lesson, one I never expected, rising up. I am rising up from misunderstood. A higher good, higher good.
Laura, thank you so much. Rising up into our higher good. That's the nutshell of the spiritual journey, isn't it? We are here to evolve, to learn, to grow. And this month in our stewardship journey together, we are talking about love, grow, serve. Love, grow, serve. What does it mean to love? What does it mean to grow? What does it mean to serve? And what does it mean to do that in spiritual community? What does it mean to support one another on the conscious spiritual journey together? And so today I want to focus in a little more on love. If you guys didn't get one of these cards in the mail, you can email info@unityofbellevue.org and we will send you one, because it has kind of the, you know, it's sketched out and there's a prayer on the back of it that you can be praying for our community. By the way, I'm going to read what we wrote here about love. The first thing it says is a quote from Reverend Dr. Michael Beckwith. Love. You are not meant to wait for it. You are not meant to search for it. You are meant to generate it. We are meant to be generators of love. And then we talked a little bit here about what do we mean when we say love? Love God, love each other, love ourselves. These are the simple instructions Jesus gave us. Unconditional love allows us to transcend and transform our current circumstances. As we see God in everything and everyone, we learn to live with our hearts wide open. Connection and community is what we are all about here at Unity, walking the spiritual path together. And when we can walk that path in love, you see, love anchors us in a sense of safety, in a sense of belonging on that spiritual path. You see, walking the spiritual path is actually a pretty vulnerable position. We have to learn to be authentic and real, to take our lives apart and look at it, to figure out who we really are. And when we do that in a community of love, we are supported. We are loved unconditionally, even when the spiritual journey starts to look maybe not so pretty, because sometimes we act out our stuff because the only way out is through, right? Y'all know that, right? I've got a couple of people go, yeah. The only way out is through. However, there's a problem with love. You want to know what the problem with love is? The problem with love is that we live in a land of duality and contrasts. We live in a land of up and down, good and bad, right and wrong, love and hate. This is the human realm, the earthly realm is a realm of contrasts and a realm of duality. And so we say things like, I will love you if. I will love you when. I will be lovable if. I will be lovable when. And this realm of duality, this realm of contrast keeps us fragmented and separate from one another, even though we know the spiritual truth is oneness and unity, right? We know that. You know what? I'm really digging the hat, but when I shake my head, it wants to fall off. So I'm just going to let it go, because then I can focus on you, not the hat. And so when we are embedded in these thoughts of I will love you when, or I will love you if, or I will love me when, I will love me if, we are anchoring ourselves more and more fully in this realm of duality, and our opportunity is to lift ourselves into a realm of oneness and of unity. And I'm going to share a little something with you here so that we can have a context for talking about this. Oh, well, maybe I'm not going to. Hang on just a second. I guess I'm not going to. I'm going to tell you about it. So I want you to imagine in your mind a continuum, and it starts over here and it ends over here, and it's a long continuum. And way over here to the left in the continuum is the idea of fragmentation, separation, division. And way over here on the continuum is the idea of oneness and unity and connection. And what I want you to envision is that it's a very long line, that this is a continuum. And on this end is the earthly realm of seeming separation, and on this end is the infinite realm of seeming oneness and unity. And you know, on our spiritual journey is about getting from the left end to the right end. Our spiritual journey is about looking out at this world of seeming contrast, seeming separation, seeming division, and seeing through the illusion to the spiritual truth of oneness and unity. And so you could think about this as evolving levels of spiritual consciousness. As I move along the continuum from seeing only fragmentation and duality towards seeing only unity and oneness, we can think about it as levels of spiritual consciousness. As I evolve my consciousness, I'm moving more and more fully toward a complete realization of oneness. And if only it were that easy, right? If only we started here and ended here. But you know, I think what the journey really looks like is I'm here and then I'm backing up and then I'm here and then I'm backing way up and then I'm here and I'm moving forward a little bit and then I'm backing up again. That is really what the spiritual journey looks like, is that it's not, it is, you know, this is just a model, I know. But we can think about it as a continuum, but it's not it is a straight line in the model, but it's not a straight line like how we get there. Does that make sense? Because, you know, I have some days that I'm more loving than others. I can say, though, that today I am generally more loving than I was 5 years ago, and way more loving than I was 10 years ago, and way more loving than I was 20 years ago. So, but my journey to get here today has been a back and forth. Is this resonating with anyone? Feel free to comment if you want, or to ask questions as we move through. So think about this continuum from fragmentation to connection. We can think about it as over here at the fragmentation end is conditionality, conditions. I will love you if, I will love me if, I will love you when, I will love me when, is over here in the fragmentation end of the continuum. And the unconditional, I love you no matter what, I embody the essence of love, is over here at the connection end of the continuum. Now notice this over here, this is a feeling. At the fragmentation end of the continuum, the duality end of the continuum, love is a feeling, right? I feel love for you. Well, but you didn't do what I wanted, so now I feel hate for you, right? So here in the land of duality, we are stuck in this feeling condition. And I don't know about you, but sometimes my feelings just run away from me. Do you ever have that experience? Yeah, but as I move along this continuum toward an awareness of connection and oneness and unity, I begin to embody that unconditional state of love, and I recognize it as a state of being. So over here in the conditioned realm of duality, my feelings drag me around, whereas over here in the realm of connection and unity and oneness, the unconditioned realm, the unconditional realm, my state of being, my state of awareness with the infinite is what is in charge. And what an empowered place to be, what a powerful place to live from. And let me be clear, neither end of the continuum is good or bad. That's duality thinking, right? We're transcending duality thinking. The continuum is just what it is. It's just a journey. It would be like saying, you know, I'm going to, you know, drive down to Tacoma today. Oh, that's bad. No, it's not. I'm just on a drive, right? I'm just going for a little drive. And I'm going to get from point A to point B. In the same way, we're just on a journey that is taking us from point A to point B. So the idea that we have our so much of our human or earthly awareness in the realm of duality, that's not a bad thing. Duality is not bad. You know, have you ever tried to adjust the contrast on your computer screen? It makes things show up better, right? See, we don't know what unconditional love is unless we can experience unconditioned love. Does that make sense? So we don't make the continuum wrong, and we don't make duality wrong. It's just a state of being. And our goal is to move toward a greater awareness of unconditional love, which means loving the separate state, loving the duality state, loving the conditioned state, as much as our hearts feel called to the unconditioned state, to the state of being, the presence of love, because the continuum is one thing. Everything is one thing. We are one thing. There's only one thing happening. And our journey is toward an understanding. How do we know the polarity as one? How do we embrace the polarity as one thing? And one of the practices, you know, if you've ever taken a class with me, you hear me go on and on about this. One of the practices that we use to know the continuum as one thing is to anchor in toward the right-hand side as much as we can. We anchor in the state of beingness. And the tool that we use to do that is we think about qualities of God. We think about what is the nature of this unconditioned state? What is the nature of this beingness of complete unity and connection? We ask ourselves, what is its nature? See, if we think about love, love on the left end of the continuum is a feeling state, and a feeling state always has an opposite. A feeling state has love, hate, right, wrong, angry, peaceful. Do you see? A feeling state always has an opposite, but that unconditioned nature of the infinite that is oneness, that is connection, that is unity, is that state of being. And so a God quality is, what is the state of beingness of God? Not the human feeling of love, but the state of beingness that God is, that is unconditioned and has no opposite. And that is love. Capital L, love. We denote God qualities with capital letters, right? And so what is the state of beingness that is peace? Not the kind of peace that has war as its opposite, but, you know, which is a feeling state, right? We're either at peace or we're at war. But the kind of peace that is unconditioned peace, the peace that passes understanding, the peace that God is. And that falls at that unconditioned right end of the continuum. And so as we think about contrast over here and unity over here, it is the God quality love. Practicing and imagining and lifting my consciousness into the unconditional love that the infinite has for us, that the infinite has for its creation, is the kind of love we are called to express in the world. How we doing so far? And how you doing with being that expression of love, particularly in, you know, it's so amazing to me right now when I look out at the world and I look at our political and our cultural place right now. The fragmentation side seems so big and so powerful. That left end of the continuum seems to have so much power. And that seeming power is anchored in this notion of duality and division. And it is a seeming power. It is not a real power. The real power lies toward the right end of the continuum, in the place of unconditioned beingness. And we will know that we have achieved that state of unconditioned beingness when we can love the stuff, when we can love the stuff and the people who are seeming to be causing the stuff and the stories, you know, when we can see those things as conditions that are born of something. So let's talk about, what are they born of? Our book of the month is More Together Than Alone. And there's a story here on page 257 that is a really good place to start with this idea. And it's on the page, the bottom of page 257. No, I'm sorry. The first paragraph of that chapter. The psychologist Clarissa Pinkola Estes tells the story of an old man who on his deathbed calls all his loved ones to his side. He gives each a short, sturdy stick and instructs each to break it. They do so with ease, and he remarks that this is how it is when the soul is alone. He then gives out more sticks and asks them to put their sticks together in a bundle. Then he asks them to break the bundle. They cannot, which causes him to smile and say, When we stay together, we cannot be broken. When we stay together, we cannot be broken. And the reason we come apart is because we believe in the power of contrast and separation and duality. We believe it has some power over us, but I'm here to tell you there is only one power, and that is the infinite power that we call God, the infinite presence of all life. And it is the unconditioned, I mean, it's everything, right? It's one, right? It's all one. But it is the unconditioned consciousness that is ready to be programmed with whatever we give it. Remember, it's unconditioned. Over here, we're conditioned. We're conditioned, like we have conditioning in our minds and in our emotions. Over here is the unconditioned consciousness that is just waiting for us to tell it what to be and how to show up. And so I choose love. I choose love. And am I always loving? No. Do I forget? Yes. Remember the continue, but progress is always forward. Evolution is always forward. We're always moving toward that state of being, that state of consciousness. This state of connection, it's our natural state. We talked about that last week. Mark Nepo has some really powerful things to say about our natural state of connection. But we block that natural state. We block the expression of our natural state. And you know, it's as ironic as it seems, I believe that we block it by striving for it. We block it by trying to get it. We block love by trying to get love. What? Do you see? We're back to that idea of I will love myself when, if. You will love me when, if I can. And so I must, it's the notion that I must do something or be something in order for me to be lovable. And when I am in that state, I am way over here at the fragmentation, the duality end of the continuum. And because that's the energy I'm putting out, that's what I'm going to get. Does that make sense? Because we know that consciousness is cause. We know that where we're coming from is what creates our experience of life. And so as long as it's, I gotta be something different in order to be loved. I gotta do something differently in order to be loved. We are affirming constantly our separation, our duality, our not good enoughness here at the fragmentation end of the continuum. And then it can't, I mean, the universe has to respond to us. That's what it does, right? But if we can begin to embody that conditioned the unconditioned consciousness and condition it with love, as we grow in understanding, we become more and more powerful expressions of love. On the next page, Mark Nepo goes on to say, and this is critical here for me. He says on the next page, it's important to realize that where ants, penguins, albatross, and gorillas are innately content to do their part for their colony, nest, or troop, we as human beings need to keep the common good in our consciousness. Without a covenant with the life around us, we can become petty in how we face the tasks before us. I think this is one reason we have the gift of consciousness, to be constantly aware of the common good we are part of and which we work toward enlivening. And so when we can release the notions of separation, of duality, when we can release the notion that I have to do or be anything to be loved, do you see how that liberates me to live into a greater sense of connection, to keep the needs of the whole in mind? And when the needs of the whole are where we're living from, our needs get met, right? They just do, because I'm part of the whole. And when when my vision, when my beingness is devoted toward the good of the whole prospers and thrives. And then I get to prosper and thrive because I am part of the whole. But if I'm over here in the realm of duality and fragmentation and separation, affirming all of that over and over again, and affirming how I'm not worthy and how you're not worthy, and we all have to do something. If you don't do it just right for me, I'm not going to love you. And if I don't do it just right, you're not going to love me. And we're all stuck over here. We got to move ourselves along the continuum to here. We got to be willing to see our oneness and unity, and that when we are so powerfully anchored in separation, it's because we're striving for love. We're trying to get love. That's all. That's all. You see, we can add to the idea of polarization or oneness. You see, in Mark Nepo, in that most recent reading, he said, we have the gift of consciousness. We have the gift of consciousness. We can look around at us and see like what's not working. And we can give thanks for what is not working, because we can use it to move ourselves toward a greater sense of connection and oneness, a greater sense of unconditional acceptance and love. In fact, as Reverend Dr. Michael Beckwith says in this month's quote, you are not meant to wait for it. We're talking about love. You are not meant to wait for it. You're not meant to search for it. Do you see, that happens at the left end. Waiting, searching, putting it out there. That's all happening over here in the realm of duality. You are meant to generate it. You are meant to generate unconditional love, God quality love, not love as a human feeling. I mean, God quality love shows up as a human feeling, but the God quality love is causal of the human feeling. And the human feeling has more power and a greater sense of stayingness. Stick to it. It sticks with us better because it's coming from a more powerful source. We are meant to generate love. And we generate love by giving. See, we're meant to give, to duplicate the nature of God. You hear me say this a lot, and I took it from Reverend Marcia Sutton. We're here to duplicate the nature of the infinite that has given to us so generously, so endlessly, so powerfully. And we're here to do at least for others what it has done so powerfully for us. And when we do that together as a bundle of sticks, when we are a stick bundle here in our community, here at Unity, we are unstoppable. When we come together in community, connected and committed to something greater than we are, that bundle is not gonna break. We support one another in moving along the continuum together, growing in consciousness, growing into that unconditioned state of complete love and complete acceptance. And so this month, we're going to do a little meditation here in a minute, but this month is our stewardship month, and I'm asking you to think about the stick bundle that Unity is for you. And to think about the stick bundle that it could become. If you are not fully part of the bundle, this is your opportunity to begin to ask yourself, why not? How can I use this community to begin to move me along that continuum? How can I become part of the stick bundle so that my spiritual journey is supported and strong, so that I am unbreakable because I have community to support me as I move along the continuum? This is your opportunity to say, yeah, I'm in. I am in. And one of the ways we say I'm in is we support the source of our spiritual good with our gifts, with our financial support, because it takes money to be a stick bundle, you guys, right? And so your board of trustees right now is going through the budgeting process for 2021. And we want to have some information about how much money we are going to have in terms of income from you. And so we're asking you to take your pledge card and make a pledge in support of this center and become part of the stick bundle that will help move you along and will move the planet along out of this realm. And, we need to keep in mind, we will always have division and duality. That's what happens here on planet Earth, right? It's part of the human experience. It's part of why we're here, and it's part of what grows us. It's easy to be holy in a cave alone, right? It's when we get into community with one another that we have to really, really, really wrestle with becoming vulnerable enough to be loved, to become part of the stick bundle. And so this is your opportunity to say, yes, I'm in, and to support your board of trustees in its financial planning for the coming year. So consider, what is mine to give, what is mine to do, and what is mine to receive from participation in this community. And you'll learn more later about the ways you can make your pledge. Don't fret, don't be thinking about that too much right now, but begin to consider in your mind and in your heart, how am I called to serve this community? How is this community called to serve me, to help me move along from the realm of fragmentation, duality, into a greater sense of oneness and belonging and community and connection? And so in that awareness, let's turn within and do a little bit of spiritual practice together. And I invite you to bring your attention to your breath, and to allow your breath to inform your body that you are alive, that you are an emanation of the infinite breath, the infinite beingness of God. And as you breathe, I invite you to ease your mind, ease your thinking, and to just bring to mind a picture of this continuum, duality and fragmentation toward the left, oneness, connection, unity toward the right. And just look at that carefully for a moment. And begin to imagine that you know exactly where you fall on that continuum right now, this moment, today. You simply know, because your mind and God's mind are one mind. You simply know where you rest today on that continuum. No judgment, no shame, no joy, no celebration. It's simply information for you to begin to get a sense of how bought into fragmentation, duality, division, good and bad and, people are this, people are that. People must be a certain way for me to love them. I must be a certain way for me to love myself, to be loved. Where do you fall? More toward that end? Or more toward the end of oneness and unity? God is good and all is well. There is an infinite loving presence that is infinitely accepting and inclusive. And there is an infinite loving consciousness in which all is well. Nothing is good or bad, right or wrong, light or dark. It simply is. Place yourself on that continuum where you see yourself today, and begin to imagine your future, where you want to be on this continuum next week. See yourself edging forward a little bit. Next month. Place yourself a little further along the continuum toward the light of love next month. And next year, a quantum leap toward unconditional lovingness. You see yourself moving along this continuum toward the embodiment of unconditional love, unconditional giving. 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, just begin to see yourself moving forward toward that light of love. And now give thanks for the unconditional love that has placed you here in this realm of seeming duality to be about God's work of love, God's work of oneness, of unity. Give thanks for your ever expanding awareness of the beingness of love that you truly and most deeply are, the authenticity with which you express effortlessly and easily is the very beingness of love of God. Give thanks for this truth. And allowing your heart to remain open, see yourself a stick in the bundle of the universal presence, a member of a global community of love, unbreakable, powerful, present, awake, alert, aware. One power, one presence. We call it God, God the good. And we breathe into this and we let it go, for we know now that we are about God's work and it is done effortlessly and easily. And so with a grateful, grateful heart, I close this message and call it good. And so it is. Amen.
Amen. Ooh, oh, there's a deepening, no need for words. Still inside, I speak. Yeah. No, I will be heard. I will be heard. Well, I've misunderstood. This life is safe and grand and good. Feed my soul till I reach the bottom, and it's deeper than I have ever known. Well, here I am found, now to live after in this love is but a sound. It roots me down. Your love, it roots me down. Ooh, oh. Well, I was a fallen one. Now that's a way that won't work. No, 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 it won't work now. Still I am holding on, holding on through all the hurts. Yeah, I'm holding on. I've seen the fork in the road. I won't split my time anymore. Feed my soul till I reach the till ever after. And this love, your love is but a sound. It roots me down. Your love, it roots me down. And the root, it grows me together. And the root is mine forever and ever and ever. Oh, feed my soul till I reach the bottom, and it is deeper than I have ever known. Well, here I am found now till ever after. And this love and your love is but a sound. It roots me down. Your love, it roots me down. You root me down. You root me down. Your love, it roots me down. And the root, it grows me together. And the root is mine forever and ever and ever.
Thank you so much, Laura. Thank you, Reverend Marla. Thank you, Laura, for a beautiful combination of words and messages today. I have been thinking about Halloween, the time of disguises, and how important it is for us to take off our mask of fear, of doubt, of shame, of anything that is not loving, and to open up to the love light that we are. So thank you for that message today. Today is the time in our service where we invite you to bring your love and demonstrate your love with your financial gifts to the center, Unity of Bellevue. On your screen, you see the various ways that you may connect with us and give your gifts, either via text or by mailing a check. As you hold in consciousness the loving presence that you are and the loving blessings that your gifts bring to our center, please join me in our offering affirmation. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is.
And so I bless these gifts. I know that they are given with grateful, beautiful hearts. I know that they are given with loving hearts. Those who have said yes to joining the stick bundle of community here at Unity. I give thanks for those who give, and I give thanks for the gift. And I consecrate these gifts to the good use of our community and to the blessing of the world through the gift of our own tithe. I am so very grateful, and so it is. Amen.
Good morning. I am Mona Cat in the Hat. I greet you and I welcome you to Unity of Bellevue. If you are visiting with us for the first time virtually, I have two things for you. Actually, I have thing one and thing two. Thing one is we are so glad you are here. We see you through the eyes of love. And we want to, thing two, stay connected to you. So we invite you to sign up for our weekly e-newsletter. That is the best way to stay up with everything that is happening with the Unity of Bellevue online. All of our groups, all of our meetings are online. And the way that you can sign up for that newsletter is you go to our website, unityofbellevue.org. At the bottom of every page is a sign up sheet for that weekly e-newsletter that comes out every Thursday morning. And you can also reach out. If you have any questions, feel free to email, to call, or shout out on social media. We'd love to hear from you. I have two things happening on Tuesday night. Thing one, Unity of Bellevue has a LGBTQ plus group, and they meet 6:30 to 8:30. A Zoom link is found on our website, unityofbellevue.org/launch, or you can hit the button at the top of every page that says Sunday and online gatherings. If you are LGBTQ plus or you are questioning, this is safe space and spiritual support for you, and you are welcome. Thing two on Tuesday night, my workshop, Align with Your Divine Purpose, is happening 6:30 to 9 p.m. You can register for that through the website or through the newsletter link under Classes and Workshop under Events tab on our website. I hope to see you there. This is one of my favorite things to teach, some tips and tools on how to keep your soul energy flowing so that you are in alignment with that divine oneness, that divine being that you are. This Wednesday, we have our Wednesday Community Connect online at 1 p.m. It is our opportunity to check in with each other, with Reverend Marla, to help us stay focused on spiritual principles and practices during our pandemic. The book of the month, More Together Than Alone. Let's see if I can get that to show up. That is available for purchase on our website. The link under events. It's a great way to stay in consciousness with each other and to stay on the same page and to be reading together. I'm happy to ship that to you. It's also a way to support our center and our bookstore. Unity Kids has posted. It posts every Sunday on our Unity Kids Facebook page. It's a Unity Kids online experience. Be sure to check that out. And next Sunday is Fallback Sunday. So just a heads up on that. You're going to want to change your clocks before service next Sunday. Finally, our prayer chaplains today are Jennifer Holt and Susan Neidig. They will be on after service for our virtual prayer circle to pray with you if you have any prayer requests. If you can't stay on, or if you also want to shoot them an email, you can at prayerchaplains@unityofbellevue.org, or you can fill out the prayer request form on our website, and they will be happy to pray with you. If you'd like one of them to call you to either pray with you or to talk with you, please put that in your message. Happy Halloween!
Oh, thank you, Monica. We have the best announcements in the world, you guys. We have the best center administrator in the world, I think. So blessed to have Monica in our lives and in our center. So thank you everyone for coming. Before we close, let me just say how grateful I am for you and for the purpose that you give us. You know, we're about transforming lives, making the world a better place, and you are the ones who have said yes to play the game with us. So thank you for that. Thank you for showing up. Join us on Wednesday for the Community Connect. It's an open group. We'd be happy to have anybody join us. And go forth in love this week. Know that you are blessed, that something so very deeply powerful has created you from a place of love in order to be more love. All right, please join me as we say the prayer for protection together. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Have a great week, everybody, and happy Halloween. Be sure you stick around for Prayer Circle if you'd like some support, and we'll see you Wednesday at 1. Bye.
Clear your mind of every doubt, name your good and let it out. Open your heart.